Hello and welcome to another red hot, fiery episode of the Flight Now webinar series, wherein we discuss how hot is too hot for drone operations. Summer has arrived in most of the northern hemisphere, and the sweltering months have made it difficult for drone pilots to conduct operations on site, particularly in the southern hemisphere. But as with everything in life, the show must go on, and it makes no sense to suspend drone operations due to external factors, especially when we have access to cutting edge technology to support them. Don't believe it's possible? Today's special guest will demonstrate how he has made drone operations a norm in high temperature, remote locations. In fact, today, as you'll get to hear from our speakers, it is 110-degree Fahrenheit at the deployment site. But before I move on to the introductions, I am Vishali, your regular show host, and I'd like to start by a few housekeeping rules while you get a cup of coffee or a cold beverage because the webinar will leave you feeling hot. So feel free to ask questions anytime during the presentation by simply typing them in the Q&A section, and the webinar is being recorded, so we will publish it online soon. Coming back to the introductions, our guest is a Saudi entrepreneur and the founder and CEO of Firnas Aero, a company that aims to revolutionize the MENA drone industry. He held several key positions in Saudi Arabia's General Authority of Civil Aviation before embarking on his entrepreneurial journey in 2015. He earned bachelor's and master's degrees in aviation management from Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University in the United States, where he also earned his commercial pilot license. Following this, he pursued an unconventional master's degree in transpersonal psychology from Sophia University. Phew. With that, let's welcome on stage Tariq Nasruddin. Hello, Tariq.
Hello, Vaisali. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Yes. But before again I hand over the dais to Tariq, let's also welcome Kurt, Larry from Hextronics, and Achal Negi, my colleague, Director of Business Development at Flightbase and the drone autonomy expert. Curtis is the founder and CEO of Hextronics, which is headquartered in Miami, Florida. He graduated from Georgia Institute of Technology and went on to found Hextronics in early 2020 out of his passion for robotics and product development. And the company has been perfecting the design of battery exchanging drone stations ever since. Along the way, the Hextronics team has won the engineering capstone design competition at Kurt's alma mater, graduated from the GT Createch Startup Accelerator, been recognized by South Florida's largest tech journal, Refresh Miami, and has been listed on the Inc. 500 list. So welcome, Kurt. Welcome once again.
Thank you for having me.
So with this, let us pass it over to Tariq. Hello, Tariq, can you hear us?
Yes.
Yes. So I'll just switch this.
So we've been doing this for quite some time now. When we first started using drones and offering services using drones, autonomy wasn't a thing yet. But early on, we saw the potential. So we provide drone as a service, and then also we use drones to detect objects, mainly FODs, and recently we started using artificial intelligence to help in the detection, which my colleagues will also talk about at the end of the presentation. And we have an extensive background in terms of fulfilling these projects, more than 70 projects now in the past 5 years. And all of our pilots are certified from the General Authority of Civil Aviation here in Saudi Arabia. Okay, so this is one of the early projects that we started on. This was back in early 2021. This project was mainly to do an environmental assessment using drones, and it was a very challenging project for two main reasons. Many of the areas that we needed to do the assessment were remote islands, like Virgin Islands that have never been developed, or they're very small, like sand strips. But because there was an environmental initiative, they wanted to assess how much plastic waste is accumulating on these islands and affecting the habitat, like the marine mammals and the plants, mainly the mangroves. And using drones, we were able to cover large distances in a fairly quick time. But the sand and heat and high humidity were always the biggest challenge. In addition to that, the objects, because they have been sitting in the sun for a very long time, so we had to use different types of cameras. We tried first with regular cameras that gave moderate results. And then eventually multispectral cameras were able to detect the plastic waste in a much more accurate way. And we were able to map these islands and coastline and detect where are the hotspots, or where are the areas that have the plastic accumulated, mostly coming from tidal waves. Another project that we worked on, this is where we started using more of autonomy and drone-in-a-box application, where we had many of these units scattered in different areas of the city, and it was used to detect some anomalies, like areas that needed landscaping, or like areas that had some debris or waste from construction, or like some potholes. And this is usually this was mainly used with Ministry of Urban Development, and they use this data to get like a baseline benchmark assessment. And our project with them is an ongoing one, because we have to do the same scan in 5 different cities every 6 months. One of the most recent projects that we have also drone-in-a-box stations used in these projects is one that is designed, that is placed for a smart city that is being built in northern Saudi Arabia. And these drones are flying every day to monitor the construction. That was the main thing. And then also just give an overall feedback of the contractor, and how are they in compliance with the safety regulations, and just getting a feel of how the work is going. So these images and these models are analyzed, and then they are compared with the actual. So you're comparing the actual data with what is planned and what is on the planning stage, and that will give management more of a sense of how the work is going and how fast it's progressing. Now, I have to say that these projects, all of them share what Baisali mentioned in the beginning, is it's a very harsh climate. It's mostly remote areas, and the heat, when we first started, was the biggest obstacle, and we could not find any drone company or any technology partner that can fulfill these requirements because of the high temperature and humidity. But we were able to collaborate with Kurt and his amazing team, and build a very robust product that went through many different iterations until we were able to reach something that is solid and reliable and can fly every day, and give us a very consistent result. Yeah, so in terms of the operation challenges, like we mentioned earlier, Saudi Arabia is mostly a desert landscape, and the temperatures are well over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, well over 45 degrees Celsius throughout the year. And then in the summertime, when we have more of an extended summer, like some countries have an extended winter, the summer season here is, or the highest temperatures here usually go for more than 3 months. We have maybe five or six, or even 6 months of very high temperature. And even in the winter, when it goes down, you will still have some high temperatures in the middle of the day. In addition to that, the sand is a major problem because it just gets into the motors, the cameras. So preserving the drone inside drone in a station that is well insulated was also a major key point that we worked on with the Hextronic team. This is one of the earliest projects that we took, and as you can see, we're just looking for some shade. You're trying to set up your drone, and it's just a very, very harsh environment. And those days are over. I mean, when you look at this picture, this was before COVID, so it's like 3 years ago, but it feels like ages because the technology has evolved a lot during this very short period of time. And now we usually don't go to the field unless we have a deployment of a new station, or we have some sort of like a routine maintenance, or we're like swapping stations or moving them around. So it's been down by maybe 95%, the need to go to the field actually. So it's mainly just for preventative maintenance and just moving stations around. Yeah, so like Baishali mentioned, it's fairly remote locations, and as you can see, it's like endless sand dunes and desert, and looking for objects in this area, if you're flying the drone, it's gonna be a very tough day. And then just driving back and forth in an off-road environment is very challenging, taking into account that what most pilots know is if you want to have good weather, you need to start like after sunrise. And if it's a remote location, that means you have to leave for the location like at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. so you can reach there before it gets too hot and before the wind starts to pick up. Yeah, so this is also one of the challenges is finding good pilots who are willing to do this journey every day and go back and forth to these remote locations. But now mostly pilots are in the background and they're flying remotely through the dashboard, and even at many cases it's just a scheduled mission, so they're just there as a safety pilot, and they're just monitoring how the drone is operating and how the health of the drone is going, and then they're making sure that we're getting good results and good images. And then maybe once a week or every 2 weeks they will do some preventative maintenance to the stations. Another thing is, like in the projects of construction monitoring, you need to have frequency. So flying every day at the same exact time, flying at the same exact path is a key to success in these types of projects. Also different types of inspection. So having a drone station really made us more capable in presenting persistent results, and also presenting reliable information and timely information for our clients.
Thanks again. Thank you, Tariq, for such detailed explanation of what goes on behind the pretty drone shots that we just saw on our screens, and for also talking about how the drone in a box solution fits in. So I'll just quickly, reiterate how technology can help or solve these challenges, and especially by using a drone in a box solution, a modular one, or as we would like to call it, via the open DIB approach, which is right away the far best way or approach to reduce human interaction, especially in high temperature environments. So through partnerships with global drone manufacturers such as the DJI, and drone docking station manufacturers such as Hextronics, the open DIB movement has facilitated access to scalable and affordable drone systems, which essentially allows these systems to be mass produced. So as a result, instead of spending 200,000 US dollars, users can now purchase a drone in a box system for as low as 20,000 USD, which is much more compact, simple, reliable, and robust. And you can actually go ahead and deploy these stations in such high temperature environments without having to burn a hole in your pocket. So without further ado, I will like to invite Kurt on stage to learn how Hextronics is enabling operations in harsh weather conditions from the hardware side.
Thank you, Baishali. And I gotta say, it's been a pleasure working with Tariq through the beginning. He met us when we were just getting started, and the journey that we've had together has been quite amazing. Thank you so much, Tariq.
Of course, thank you, Kurt.
And so the initial reason why we came into actually developing an HVAC system is we used to use thermoelectric for our cooling, but we found that it just had a very high power draw, and it really did not give us the performance that we required, and it was rather heavy and just too complicated. Well, relatively too complicated. Getting into HVAC manufacturing definitely required quite a bit more resources, manpower, and design. However, overall in the end, it was the right decision because it did give us the performance and efficiency that we needed. And so we can talk about this performance in the next slide, where really you can see here, this is the temperature history of a normal day, and this is actually pulled directly from one of Tariq's units in Saudi Arabia, where the outside temperature is in the region of 110 degrees. And so you'll see it oscillating a bit, and that is simply the compressor turning on and off. And we are working to make it a lot smoother, but this so far keeps it at a healthy medium in between two boundaries. And so actually it functions through a hermetic rotary electric motor compressor, which is a very compact motor compressor for refrigeration units. And then we've got a cooling capacity up to roughly 550 watts at maximum. And it really is able to do quite a bit of cooling because of its coefficient of performance being 2 or even greater sometimes. And so we can definitely go further into kind of the actual creation of the HVAC system in the next slide. So this is what a typical compressor-based system looks like. This is just kind of the guts of it. Really, you need quite a few different steps in the process. However, putting it together, you've got to really define the design of it and actually work to make it fit inside of the system. And it is good definitely to build something like this. From our end, we've got quite extensive understanding of manufacturing these things actually in-house now, and we work with one of the local HVAC groups here in South Florida to do it. As you can understand, South Florida does get hot, so there's a bunch of knowledgeable HVAC technicians around here. And actually, it's a funny story. When we were first getting started with Tariq, I visited him and essentially brought the HVAC with me in my suitcase. However, the baggage handlers on the airplane, I think, dropped it a couple times and ruptured one of the valves. And we actually just went over to kind of an HVAC repair shack and got the whole thing fixed in under 30 minutes while we had a good lunch. That was a good day, huh, Tariq? Yeah, it was exciting, but it just shows how technology like this.
I would like to add to Kurt's point is, when I saw the HVAC not working, and I was really concerned because now we're gonna have to ship parts and wait for parts to come, and it's gonna be a rough day. But actually, this very simple AC shack in like the middle of nowhere, like with very minimal tools, they were able to fix it in 30 minutes while we had lunch. And it just shows how very simplistic the design is, and at the same time it's very, very effective. And we're very happy with the results. So I'll leave it to Kurt.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then thank you, Tariq. That's exactly. I was a little stressed, but I think the team there was able to figure it out pretty quickly. It is standard HVAC that happens every day for like hundreds of thousands of hours across the world, installed in nearly every building. So the reliability does have to be there with the system like this. We can go further into the next slide where we'll just kind of touch back on why we've been based on battery swapping since the beginning, how we have refined it. This is one of our initial videos. However, we have refined the process even more so to be more reproducible and scalable over time. And we have over 45,000 swaps across the world and still counting. And so this is really kind of what built us, and why we believe that swapping is best is because there is a high frequency of one battery going bad, but if you've got 6 batteries, you should be ready for a flight in under a minute if you need to replace the battery. And all can be done remotely, and also just the capability to even hit something like the power button on the drone does go a long way when it comes to ensuring the drone is ready for flight. And ensuring ready for flight is definitely part of the weather station package that we've also included. And so it is an add-on. It's on the next slide. And it pretty much is an off-the-shelf Tempest weather station. However, we do integrate with other weather stations. And also we can collect satellite-based weather data in real time, and also project it. And so we're able to feed this through our open API to Flightbase, who then consumes it and displays that information right on the dashboard. And so systems like this definitely help in giving real-time accurate local weather data to understand, should I fly right now? Is it too windy? Is it raining? Simple things like that do go a long way when determining whether or not it's good to, first of all, leave the station, and if it's going to be a good flight under enough wind for you to return safely.
And I can add to that point. So when we first started, we didn't have a weather station, but then after some discussions with Kurt and the team at Flightbase, we decided to try it out, and we got this Tempest weather system, and it went a long way, especially when you have a drone station in a remote location. Most likely, if you're just gonna check like weather apps or websites, they're not gonna give you like very accurate weather data to that specific location, because the data that you might be reading might be from a weather station that is very far away from where your actual drone is. And sometimes just the forecast doesn't give you an accurate reading, especially if you have a very low margin with the wind speed and the temperature that you're operating in.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And we'll turn it over to Flight Now, I think, with Achal, who can take it from here.
Yes. So again, thanks, Kurt, for walking us through the complete Hextronics system, especially the HVAC. That's going to be the most important, one of the most important components when operating in high temperature regions. So with this, I will move on to Achal to share how or what we are doing on Flight Now and demonstrate how Flight Now enables fully remote operations with minimal intervention. So over to you, Achal.
Sure. Thank you, Vaishali. Thank you, Dari. Thank you, Kurt. This is what shows the value of partnerships. First of all, I would like to say, because doing these kind of deployments, autonomous in Saudi with this kind of technology that Hextronic offers would not be possible if you're just working with monolith solution or one solution. You have expertise or years of expertise from Firnas Aero of what goes wrong, what happens. Same as from Hextronics, where they focus on things which are critical for autonomous operations from the hardware side, be it the temperature part, the battery swapping part, taking care of integrations with weather station, and the rugged reliability, plus the maintainability of the system, right? Because once you have multiple systems, we just heard that anecdote of getting that AC repaired locally, right? All of these things play an important role in that modular approach that we are taking in open door in the box movement, right? Where you have the right technology at the right moment, as well as you have the enough modularity to deploy, repair, as well as scale those operations. So with that, I would like to just touch upon few critical features that we've been working in Flight Now, where the goal with Flight Now has been to enable these automated drone operations and also help set up these remote command centers, so the drone operators do not have to go on site, and they can manage everything remotely. And this is where the end users, whether they are deploying it for security, public safety, or they're deploying it for use cases like pipeline inspection or railway lines, they can get that benefit working with Firnas Aero in Middle East area, where they can help you set up these kind of stations from the drone side, as well as the remote command centers using Flight Now. So we'll walk you through quickly those things that we've been focusing on and things that we've been planning to add in Flight Now in the coming weeks. So basically, let's go to the next slide. So this is something which already exists. Now this is continuously evolving. So as Kurt mentioned, we consume the data from the weather station, from the docking station, and the HVAC, and you have the entire utility dashboard where you can see that data as well as configure that data. So based on where you are, what is the temperature range which is happening in that area, on the right bottom, you can set the HVAC temperature. So you can set that range, and the system would make that happen. On the left side, you have the weather data, so you understand what kind of temperature it is happening right there, as well as on the top, you have functions from the docking station. So you understand the health of the docking station as well. So this already exists, and now this is being improved in a way where you can get data from all the sensors in Flight Now. So in the coming weeks, you're going to see a new version which is coming up for this dashboard as well, to get all the statistics as well as the control of the sensors which are provided by Hextronics in the dashboard. So we have released the new protocol which is being integrated with Hextronics, which would give you access, all of that access on the dashboard. Moving to the next slide. Mission scheduler, of course, has been the primary ask where you can schedule all those missions. So this has become popular already, where you can set all that on the calendar like you do your meetings, and it would happen automatically as the time comes, as well as the smart projects where if the flight couldn't happen because of certain reasons that we're going to learn on the next slides, that could be automatically adjusted, or the mission could be cancelled automatically based on the external alerts or threshold or weather conditions through the mission scheduler app built inside Flight Now. Multicam video feed has been one of the options. So right now what you see is the upcoming version, a sneak peek where you would have the new features added already. So today you can see live video feed from the drone docking station. We've already introduced the feature where you can now add feed from the third party sensors as well. So if you have CCTV cameras, everything could be managed inside one dashboard, and it could be set up on a big screen where you can manage all of this with your remote command center that you're establishing. So you would soon see this new dashboard coming up where you'd be able to access a lot of things from a single place, as well as use the multicam app to manage operations for multiple areas. These are few snapshots deployment scene. Maybe like if you want to share some more stories about this, where how things are happening in this particular area in Saudi Arabia, and
Yes.
what kind of operations you're doing on the left, what kind of operations you're doing on the right, what we are seeing.
Okay, so on the left, this is like more of the map view, and as you can see on the in the center of the image on the bottom, this is where the drone station is located, and it's located inside a complex or camp. And in the evening it does some sort of like security patrolling, but then in the morning it will fly upwards, as you can see, and then it crosses that small area where we have the shipyard, and then it goes to that blue dot, and that's where there is some construction going on. And every day it's flying. In the beginning it was very scary, because this drone is flying over 1 kilometer of sea, but then after a while you get to understand how reliable, if you measure everything right, it's a very reliable system. And if you fly in the good weather conditions, in terms of wind specifically, then it will go fly and take pictures and come back safely. And this is where you need all these features that Ashal talked about, and even more features that he didn't mention, like if the battery, all the fail-safe parameters that are there in the system, because without them it will be very difficult to manage. And I always encourage people when they think about wanting to have a drone station to think about scalability, because it's, for the most part, you can do it with one or two, but then if you want to scale the project and you have to do everything manually, it becomes very, very difficult, and at the same time not cost effective. So some of the fail-safe features, like you get to decide at what point of battery percentage do you want the drone to come back for a safe landing, and having an alternative landing place if the drone is unable to come back because of strong winds or any problem that it might encounter along the way. On the right side, this is like the actual like live feed from the drone itself, and in many cases we're using like an Xbox joystick to control the drone manually and manipulate the camera manually, because the construction site is still very, very fresh and it's undefined. So every day we're going into different zones and trying to capture images from different angles. And having this robustness and this agility in the system really enables us to bring results quickly and rapidly, and also depending on the changing needs of the client and the project.
Great, thank you, Tariq. So you touched upon the really two good points. One is, of course, the reliability of the system, so you can trust that system to fly every time and get that data. Plus, the scalability factor is really important as well, because it's not gonna just be there on one side. You'd like to do it on all the sites that you have. So if you have 10 construction sites, you can manage that effectively using this technology. So thank you for that. Let's quickly talk about what lies ahead. So as we've been working with a lot of our partners across the globe, all right, the whole vision has been to build a platform where you can scale your drone application. So our approach has never been that you'd have only one solution from Flight Now, which would work in a certain ways and you'd be able to do so much. It has been more of a platform approach where you can create your own workflows, integrations, and as you deploy this in your internal organization, you would be able to integrate those kind of workflows, external applications that you're using. Suppose you are in security and you like to integrate a video management system where you already have controls of your alarm system, access control system, CCTV cameras. You would like to have drones as one of the parts to your security system. Now, how would that happen? And now you would want autonomous drone with the drone in the box solution that we've been seeing. So this is where the Flight Now app store or the app library comes into the picture. So where we'll be able to equip you to create applications that can help you improve your drone operation workflows, as well as have better insights, expand functionalities, and bring innovation to the market as we are deploying more and more docking stations across the world. So let's move to the next slide, and I'll give you a quick overview and then I'll pass it on to the Kurt. So this is where Hextronic has been closely working with us, leveraging the APIs and SDK and creating their own application for analytics, right? So as you're flying a drone for security or different use cases, you need to have some valuable, actionable insights, data coming out of that video feed or the images that you're taking. So this is where Hextronic has been creating an application which should be soon available on Flight Now. And I would pass it to Kurt to help us understand more what you have been building over the last few weeks, months, and what is going to look like and what value is going to provide it to the users who are going to use Hexvisions with Flight Now.
Sure thing. Thank you, Achal. So yeah, we've been working on Hexvision for quite some time. Really, it started off us wanting to do more with the drones, and especially answer a lot of the questions and just the things that our customers really got excited about. They constantly wanted, if they were using it for security, for instance, to be able to send them a notification if a person is reported in a certain area. Or for kind of livestock monitoring, being able to actually capture and recognize different animals inside of their paddocks or fenced-in areas. And so we got hard to work building, basically using some existing algorithms and putting a layer of refinement on top, and then integrating it with the real-time display that we attained from Flight Now APIs. And so in general, Hexvision is a computer vision platform that aims to extract valuable and actionable data from video footage, especially from drones, and then provide this data to clients and create reports for this data in an easily consumable way. And the best way we have seen to do that now is with text messages. And so essentially you log in, you can see the current functionality is real-time monitoring of the drone from the cloud, and will give you text alerts or enable custom triggers that will loop back into Flight Now, launch to location APIs, or other actionable type of designs. And then on top of this, we do enable for post-processing of images and videos, as well as integrating with the S3 bucket, pretty much where all of your images are stored in the cloud anyways. And doing this, you can upload an image, a video, a folder full of images, or your whole cloud storage, and it will go through and pick out specific details that you ask for, such as one group's looking to utilize it for infrastructure inspection, and especially performing analysis on their concrete structures and recognizing any cracks or faults in the foundation. And so what we're building around that is an analysis algorithm that will search through every image and recognize if there is a crack, and then the severity of this crack. And so all of these type of key details that need to be understood can be augmented in custom algorithms, and then will be available to the rest of the community using this Hexvision platform. And so we are aiming for a launch at the end of this month. And if you're already a Hextronics customer, you will receive 1 month free. And Tariq, that's 1 month for every one of your boxes. Just say.
We got a lot of boxes, so that's good.
Exactly. And so it's all displayed on a pretty nice dashboard. We continue to evolve it every day. But yeah. Oh yeah, let's go into the demo. We do have a short demo, and this is essentially how you start a job. We call them jobs, basically, and it's just a little computer running in the background, analyzing the video of the drone, relatively done in the cloud. And so we've since started the job, and now we will launch the drone. You'll see it's just getting started. The drone is booting up. And then you'll see that now the stream is active. Let's get it. Wait a second more. Okay, got it. All right. I can just explain more during this. And so this is the process of essentially what it is like to use the Hextronics. Okay, it's active now, so that means it is picking up the visual feed from flight now. And now we are controlling the drone, and we'll take it off to a position to see if we can recognize a person. So this is at our testing facility. You guys might recognize the barn or the Hex Labs that we have from our initial launch. And this is where we perform most of our custom testing. And so how we do have it configured is it is sent to a single phone number, but you can configure it to be for multiple phone numbers. And this algorithm is specifically trained to recognize people. And so you'll see here, we're using right now the Mavic 2 Zoom, and we're picking up Todd as he's walking through the driveway. And so in real time, there is about a delay of 5 to 10 seconds. There you go. Okay, and so that was actually detected in real time on the stream. And then we have the capability as well. You can tap to load in and see the direct video stream of the drone directly from your cell phone, which we see to be quite powerful. And so the rest of this video, I believe, is just returning back to the docking station and precision landing. We can keep going if you want, but what we do see as the future of this is being able to configure the algorithms to your desire and basically pick apart kind of the exact use cases that you need so that you get the alerts that mean the most to you. So right now, I believe this unit here has done over 800 swaps just in this location. Yeah, so I mean, we could fast forward. I probably should have tuned this video a bit, but you'll see it precision lands pretty quick. So
thanks, Scott.
Yeah, we'd like to quickly thank you for that demonstration. And yeah, everybody is looking forward to that app coming soon, and we'll have more details available on how Hextronic users can use that, and I have the free access as mentioned by Kurt. So let's make it happen, and yeah, let's move on to the next bit.
Yes, I think that was a wonderful sneak peek, Kurt. It gave everyone a very good idea about what's coming in Hex Vision, and I'm sure most of the audience is also looking forward to it. So with this, I think we have come to the end of our presentation, and I would now like to open the house for Q&A. Just a minute. Yes. So, audience, please feel free to ask away your questions. And meanwhile, I will just pick up the questions that are already up on the portal. Uh, I will start with the hex vision question that we got because we just discussed it. Is what are the different kinds of objects that hex vision can detect?
Sure, yeah. So right now we can detect people, vehicles, animals, and standard objects like also houses, pools, tractors, and we are constantly training new algorithms to pick up more individual data and eventually work to even be able to get more specifics on individual data, such as if you're analyzing a vehicle, see if on the vehicle analysis you can determine what make and model of the vehicle is, and also see if you can even read the license plate. And so that is all coming soon, and definitely something that shows the capability for growth of systems like this and just the value of drone docking systems, especially ones co-produced with Hextronics and Flight Now, that will eventually bring more and more value as time increases.
Great. I think we have a follow-up question on, I'm not sure if it is directed towards Hex Vision or the complete solution, but does it work with the DJI Enterprise Advanced?
Yes. This works Mavic 2 series completely through Zoom Pro, Enterprise, Zoom Dual, and Advanced.
Yes. I think Fernanda has a few more questions. So, what is the maximum distance of flight that can be conducted from the single station? Achal,
Yeah.
would you like to answer that, or Kurt, if you would?
Yeah, sure. So from our testing, basically a good safe distance is about 1 mile or 2 kilometers roughly, and this is what we determine to keep it in the right location, just so you can always return back to home with about 35% battery left.
Right.
Yeah, from our experience as well on that point, if you have the drone station in elevated location, like on a rooftop, and this is usually where we like to put our stations, you will get a very good strong signal, and you can go to 1 mile, 1.5 mile, around 2.5 kilometers.
Right. Tariq, since I have a few questions for you as well. So, do you offer services outside of Saudi Arabia?
We offer services within the MENA region, the Middle East region, and mainly we're working in Saudi Arabia and also in Dubai. But we're always looking for projects and partners within the Middle East. So we're open to provide services in any location.
All right. Kurt, we have a few questions for you. That is, first is, what are the payloads that can be used with the station? And and what is the maximum operating temperature for the system? So if you could maybe answer both.
Sure. Okay. So the station and the station's max temperature we found to perform up to 120 degrees Fahrenheit. That's just in some other some deployments we have, especially with Tariq, and that seems to be able to do the job pretty much anywhere. He's pretty much in the hottest spot right now, and that's where we've done most of our intense testing. And then as far as it goes with payloads for the drone, we do work with the payloads that come standard with the Mavic 2, the Enterprise series, which is the beacon, the speaker, the RTK module, and the light payloads.
Right. One question for Hex Vision is, does the object detection happen over cloud?
So the object detection does happen over cloud. We are working with in the possibility of an embedded solution. However, over cloud enables it to be relatively scalable, because what it does enable is for multiple algorithms to be running simultaneously. So you can have one algorithm detecting people, for instance, and then the other one working to detect another object in the frame. And being able to scale that up and down is definitely valuable, and then also enables you to control it and manage it even when the docking station is offline, and it will enable you to manage them among many different applications that you may have as well.
Right. Thanks. Tariq, there's a question around regulation. So are there any regulatory bottlenecks that while deploying drones for in Saudi Arabia, have you faced as such?
So the regulations here are fairly standard to what most countries have. You need to have some sort of certification for the pilots and some form of registration for the drones. And then when it comes to like operations, especially if you're going BVLOS, you need to have like a permit or waiver for that. Usually, from our experience, what we found is if you sit down with the regulator and they see that you are knowledgeable and you have enough awareness and responsibility and know what you're doing, they are fairly reasonable in granting waivers and permits. So in terms of regulations, we haven't faced a lot of challenges in terms of regulation. It's just a process that you have to do and you have to account for when you're proposing a solution to a client.
Right. Great. I think I have a few questions for Achal as well. So first off is how do you get the media files from the drone's SD card from a remote site? I think Achal will be able to answer that. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So we have a cloud sync feature where, of course, a lot of operations that you do, you need the high quality imagery which is stored on the drone. So we have the cloud sync features which downloads all the data from the drone to the docking station, and it's uploaded to your private server, private cloud, so you can access all that data right there. And as we are bringing up the app library, app store, you would be able to do integrations with third-party software like Hexvision for post-processing, as well as if you're doing a lot of photogrammetry mapping or something like that, you can leverage the third-party tools to your standard tools to process that data. So all that jazz of getting the SD card and then removing the data, uploading to cloud, processing it would be fairly smoothed out with the app library, since you'd be able to integrate and get that data. So yeah, that is how you get it.
Right. I think we had a similar question around this, that is it possible to combine UGCS type software for surveys in photovoltaic parks in the docking station? So I think that answers it with the App Store integration. And one other question is, sorry, Achal, if you wanted to.
Yeah, I was just agreeing to that. So you can get that data, like I said, the data from the drones that you generally get it from the SD card or their internal memory. Is uploaded to your remote command center, and you can access that data, and it could be say an AWS S3 bucket, where you can use the software your choice to post-process it.
Right. Another question is it possible to have more than one box and make drones land into different boxes?
Right. This has been like becoming one of the popular things that everybody would need, and we understand that this is something which everybody would like to do. This would help them get to a larger range where they can fly from one place, land on another docking station, and have thus just the hopping. And of course, this is something which is absolutely possible. Today it is not available, but the way we have architected things, the way we have integrated the docking station, we have all the controls that are possible. So as soon as we have those large scale deployments happening, it would be just a software upgrade which would make that possible, where the drone would take off from one location, go to the next one, use the QR code, ARUCO marker to land on the docking station, pair it with that docking station, and be ready for the next mission to go to the third docking station or nth docking station. So yeah, this is something which is still in process development, which will be coming soon in the next few months.
Thanks, Achal. I think we can take one last question. That is, what happens if internet is lost in middle of the flight,
Mhm.
and how does the drone behave or interact with the station?
Sure.
Yeah.
So, of course, this has been covered in flight now. So we have various field safes. We touched upon it. Tariq also mentioned a bit about that. You have a fail safe where you can set it of where what action you need to perform, and you have a timeout. So if you're confident that the drone would automatically fly and complete that mission, and even if you lose internet connection for 30 seconds, you can set it to continue mode, and the drone will continue to do that mission, come back and do its job. If you think that no, this is something which is very critical, where if the internet is lost for even like few seconds, I would want the drone to come back and land on the docking station, or I would want the drone to be just hovering there. Now it also depends on what kind of SOPs, waivers, grant you have got from the regulators, that how it should perform. So all of those things are built in flight now, as well as the failover to edge, where even if you lose the connection, the edge would take over and the drone would safely come back and land in the box, is something which is already available in the phase one. And we are adding more and more smarts where the edge can be more and more intelligent to make sure the drone can come back and land.
Right. Thank you again, Achal. So let us close. We are almost at the end of the webinar today. And Tariq, would you like to share any closing thoughts?
So it has been quite the journey for us, and we started with just one box, and now we're moving into projects with 50 units and beyond. So the solution is scalable, and we have been working with Flightbase and Ashal and Hextronics and Kurt for the past 2 years or even more. And I highly recommend exploring these options. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to us and we can share with you more in detail from our experience and how we're using the product on a day-to-day basis in different parts of Saudi Arabia. And I wish you all the best, and thank you for having me.
Thank you, Tariq. Kurt, do you have a message?
Yeah, I just want to say it's been a pleasure to work with you all. And Tariq, we have shared a lot of experiences, and I see a lot more to come, and I'm excited for what's next.
Thank you everyone. You've been a wonderful audience, and have a great day. Thank you for all the questions. If there are any questions that I've missed, I'll definitely try and answer them over email. Again, thank you all for joining today amidst your busy schedule. So have a great day.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you, Tariq. Thank you, Kurt, for taking our time. It has been a great time discussing this. Okay, thanks, everybody. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks.